City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I told you I was gonna fuck it up.
Scrap it. End it.
Scrap it. No, I'm pushing through. I don't care. Episode 37. It wouldn't be a week with me missing without me fumbling right away. So I'm back. Mila, Grant, as always. Facundo, welcome back to the pod. Alex, welcome to the pod. Facundo, Arsenal fan. Alex, Madrid fan. As Mila and Grant had the same kind of setup last episode, we'll have it this episode. We'll talk about the game. Arsenal just, we don't talk about Arsenal on this podcast for certain reasons. So we'll talk about their 3-0 win against Madrid. And then we'll switch our attention to the Champions League race because the Premier League has like too many teams competing for not that many spots left. And, we got a bunch of teams that went berserk. So let's just jump into it. Facundo, 3-0. Go ahead. Give us some thoughts.
Best performance of our season so far. I'd say in the league it's been pretty disappointing. I didn't get to watch it live, which is kind of sad, but even on the replay, just a really impressive performance. First half, I thought it was kind of 50-50, and then second half, I think our midfield was a bit athletic for them. And obviously Declan Rice kind of score some worldies. Honestly, I think we needed those kinds of finishes and those kinds of goals because Courtois was next level. Honestly, if those aren't put where those are put, they're probably saved. So just really good to get a 3-0 win. Honestly, I've been starving as a fan for literally competitive, meaningful matches. And this was pretty exciting. So yeah, just a really awesome night.
Did you expect anything like that? Because I know you went airplane mode, pre-recorded the 90, and just went and watched it as is. Like I don't even think in your wildest dreams. I told everybody I knew to not spoil it for me, and then I forgot to turn off my sleeper notifications, and I got the Declan Rice goal notification. But do I expect? I don't know if I expected it. I thought Madrid was one of those teams where, and I'm not saying this to sound like cocky or anything, but the way that they play would allow us to be better in terms of they're not really strong defensively. And I think that we struggle against teams who are good defensively. But yeah, I didn't expect 3-0. I know, I just thought everybody all around had a really good performance, and that's usually what it takes to beat one of these teams. I don't know. I feel out of place in this competition. I haven't really watched my team be competitive in it for a really long time. So I don't want to sit here and act like I know what it takes to win in this competition. But I imagine, especially against the 15-time champions, that you're going to need everybody to be on their A game. And fortunately for us, everybody was. But yeah, I'm glad Declan Rice also was able to have that performance because I was getting really tired of the Grant. Oh, he doesn't pass the ball progressively. So for him to be that much of a threat and finally show his class. I didn't expect it, but I'm glad I didn't expect it. It made the win that much better, Yeah, I think I got that. I got this game dead wrong. If you saw any of what we were talking about last week, Shadman did bring that up as a Madrid fan. Like he was not very confident about the matchup, to be fair to him. I kind of thought he was full of it, but he was right. I just thought once Gabriel was out, that was it. I thought that was the final straw. Especially with the individual talents at the top end of the pitch for Madrid. But I did say it would take a stinker from all their big names to really for a result. And I think we got that too. But I think you definitely give credit to Arsenal. I think, honestly, your worst player was probably Odegaard. I mean, he was just kind of pedestrian in that game. But everyone else, to your point, he wasn't great. I think everyone else was at that level. I think Alaba right away, like you could tell, was uncomfortable out on the left. I thought that was kind of crazy. Also mentioned that last week. But yeah, I honestly just couldn't believe it. that's a good transition to get Alex's thoughts on the game. From the Madrid perspective, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, that was a rough watch. I mean, going into it, I thought I agreed with Shad's prediction from last week that we were going to concede first, but I really thought we could get one back, either 1-1 or 2-1. Did not go like that at all. Yeah. I really think so. Kind of from my perspective, what we could improve upon. Saka could keep burning us on the wing all game. We need to do better to shut him down. Keep Martinelli off of it. Yeah, and like Facundo said, really, like, Courtois kept us from going down even more than 3. And I mean, we probably won't see like 2 worldies from Declan Rice again, but it could come from anywhere. I mean, we're looking like pretty faulty like defensively, but I mean, I'm hoping for some vintage, Modric and then Tchouaméni back, even though we don't have Camavinga. We just got to finish our chances. We only had 3 on target. Arsenal had 11. So, yeah, we got to keep our head in the game. I don't know if you guys saw the La Liga game on the weekend, but it was a weird 1-0 win against Alaves. We missed a lot of chances, but the highlight was
you guys were down a man for what 30, 40 minutes of the game.
One of the worst
red
tackles
cards
I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was shocking. Really. It was dumb, and then they got a red as well.
Yeah, very typical. La Liga game. Like I've
average
seen
La Liga
line. You know what I mean? Like Madrid goes down a man, they already have a goal, and then all of a sudden the other team's also got a red at the end, and it just ends 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah. Camavinga curled in a beauty from like 20 yards out central.
I did see that.
I mean, it kind of made up for it didn't make up, but like
the
bad loss against Valencia, but yeah.
Yeah, and Vinny wasn't great that first leg too.
He's been poor. This was the first game where their form in the league has kind of bled into a Champions League performance. Usually it doesn't matter. That they're just one of those teams where, the Champions League performances are separate from the league, and they've just got the big name players that show up on the biggest nights. And to Arsenal's credit, I think this is actually the opposite. Like, we got this performance out of Arsenal. Arsenal showed up for the task. Madrid did not. There's a rubber meets the road kind of thing coming here with Ancelotti and some of the players in the squad. I think there's going to be a revamping with Madrid. I don't know if you feel the same way, Alex. But you've got this like weird kind of aging back core with like Modric played. You know what I'm talking about? Like, is Modric really the answer at this point? I know they have injuries, but
that's what I wanted to ask is like,
I know
both to Alex and Facundo. Do you think that Modric against that Arsenal midfield is asking to get
baby meme.
More athletic. Yeah, like the Camavinga injury, or suspension actually hurts them because I think they need a midfield 3 of Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Valverde, where they can run.
Bellingham has to play in there though.
Bellingham will.
They play him. That's what he always plays in the midfield. You know what I mean? I see the vision though.
I do think Valverde needs to go into the midfield for this next leg.
He's too good.
If Martinelli beats the back line, he beats the back line. I don't have faith in him to do that. But I feel
like
Vasquez
just gets tricky at defense.
If it's Vasquez
is a winger. That's why.
Vasquez or Garcia.
But yeah, Alex, do you want Modric to play, or do you think, to Fac's point, that Arsenal midfield is too physically dominant?
Styles make
for
fights
him to be in that game.
I think this is a weird thing to say, but if the aggregate was different, I would say maybe Modric come on as a sub.
Well, for control, of course. Yeah.
It's a weird one where we're gonna like basically be fighting to win 3-0 and then hopefully win in penalties or get another Rudiger 120, right? But yeah, I mean, I was thinking about what do you do with defense, right? I mean, because Valverde is either going to have to be like right back, or you put Vasquez in, or you're going to put like Fran Garcia in. But then there's the whole thing with Alaba. I mean, Alaba against Fran Garcia, I'm not sure if it's going to make that much of a difference against Saka. But I heard we might get Mendy back. I'm not super optimistic about that. But so it would be Tchouaméni and Modric with Bellingham above. But like, I mean, I agree with Facundo that I'd rather have Kamavinga in there for legs against Arsenal's mid. But, I mean, we'll see. I don't know what Mikel Arteta is going to pull out with the ultra defensive park the bus. We'll see. I don't know.
That would be probably the worst idea, I honestly think.
This
is going to come back to bite me in the ass later when Modric scores like a winner or something. I promise you this will come back to haunt me.
Or Trevella's
we need a Modric swirly. Yeah, we need a Modric swirly. It's got to be one of the 3 goals if we're going to win. It's got to be a Modric swirly.
Yeah, I don't think parking the bus is the answer, at least not from the start. I don't think at any point should we be ultra defensive, in my opinion. I know you just talked about like Vidi not performing well, but I genuinely think that, I don't know, like you see it with Mo in the Prem, like he doesn't really play well and then he like scores or something happens, he gets an assist. Like that's what this team is full of, those players. So like even in like you have a scarce amount of chances, they're probably going to be super clinical and efficient and score. So I think you have to go in there kind of the same plan. I think now the initiative is on them to go win the game, which means if you're playing with a front 3 that's not good at pressing, but you have to press because of the circumstances you find yourself in, and then one non-athletic midfielder in a midfield 3 of athletes or runners or whatever, I think that gives us a better opportunity to win the game, which is, I think, the mindset that we should have. But obviously, in general, I think them having to take the initiative is better for us because then we can play through that as opposed to just saying we're going to sit behind the ball and let all of these guys that have world-class ability try and find a way for 90 minutes. I don't think that's a winning strategy. Maybe our mark, 70 minutes, even then I think is a bit early to start getting defensive. Like if I'm planning on this not happening until the 85th, 80th minute, and then you go into a bit of a block. But I don't know. Like that place is going to be bumping. I think you got to survive the first 10, 15 minutes, settle in, start to play. And then I think if we can get a goal first, I think that suits us. I hope we don't go into that defensive shape after getting a goal. Like they need more initiative. They're going to be doing the things that we want them to do. So I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. It could be a defensive performance and just wait out a 3-0 aggregate lead. But I think we're going to play in the win. I think at this point, like the league is done. I think you need to learn something in this competition of like, you've got to go to these places, believe that you can win and finish these teams off and not just see out a lead. So that's what I'm hoping to expect. I think we'll get that probably around the hour-ish mark, 70th minute mark. I think Mikel probably shuts it down a little bit, depending on the scoreline, obviously. But I'd like to see us go out there and go for the kill, essentially.
Yeah, and I think if you guys played like you played a week ago, it's going to be to your benefit, like you said.
Yeah.
Especially with the midfield situation. I mean, like, you're pretty much just hoping, like you said, Lewis Skelly doesn't give away, like, a stupid red penalty or something early, and if you can, like, survive the first 30 minutes, like, yeah, it'll probably end up well for you. But, yeah, I mean, if you saw, like, the party goal, I know a lot of the subs were in against Brentford, but, like, if you saw the party goal, it could be something like that. I mean, anything, like even if Real are up 2-1, they're still going to have to keep pressing. And it could quickly go to 2-1 on a counter like that. I mean, you've got the pace, and we know Real's defense has been shaky with all the injuries and just all the motion back there. So, yeah, I mean, like 2-1, that's a 2-goal deficit then. So, really, it's like if Arsenal can score here, it's over, unless something crazy happens, like Modric's worldy, Skelly gives away a penalty, right? But
right.
Yeah, it would have to be like probably the sketchiest, just based off of. I thought we would probably just play White Saliba, but I don't know. Hopefully, that's the thing is even in the first game, their chances really came off of our mistakes. So as long as we don't give the ball away in really bad areas, I think we should be successful. But I'm not saying anything until I
mean, you guys just need to keep it simple. If you keep it simple, you'll be fine. Like Alex is saying, and you were saying, they have to go for it. So just keep the ball well. Don't do anything too like
don't take too many risks.
Yeah, don't take any risks. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate all the Big Brother advice. I'm like the only one in this group that hasn't won this thing, and everybody's like, "Hey, man, just do this."
I mean, it's beating Madrid more so than anything. Like, you guys just have to play the simple game. If you give them a sniff at it, they will come with 120% effort.
This is the Madrid
900% black magic. Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times in the past 10 years.
I got the black magic once. Yeah. It was terrible.
Just a little blood in the water.
But yeah, I think you guys are fully
Modric, Trivella
of controlling the game, especially with the depleted midfield that they have right now. Like, it should be an easy, I wouldn't say win, but if you guys leave with a 0-0, who cares? You make it to the next round.
Yeah.
Semifinals.
So I see what you're saying also about like trying to prove something in the competition, but when you are playing the kings of the competition, I think you take what you can get and just knock them out, however it happens.
Yeah, you prove it by beating them.
No, I think you're right. You don't play the low block. You take their soul, is what I would say. And our biggest critique of Arsenal all season has been slow, pragmatic, not really doing a whole lot. That's the key to this
when
game.
It works.
Be slow, be pragmatic. Yeah, force them to chase you.
Dude.
No,
I get it. I agree with you, Dylan. I actually agree with you. I don't agree with the rest of the group. I don't think that just going there and being sound defensively and letting these guys be on the ball for 90 minutes is the correct
That is
strategy.
not what we said.
That is not what we said. Keep it simple. Like what? You have to go.
Simple.
Don't go win this game.
That's what you guys been doing all year. Keep it simple.
You can play the ball and not lose it. That's not giving the other team possession, though. There's a difference. Just keep control of the ball.
Yeah, that's what I think taking their soul is removing them from the ball. Like, don't even let them have life. And I think that actually plays to your guys' strength in the midfield. It'll be interesting with Partey probably being out, just because I don't know the tactical switch there. I'm assuming it's Moreno in the midfield, no?
Or Jorginho in the middle, mate.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Of the week.
That's a great idea. What are you talking about?
Jorginho,
how bad was his injury? Did he get hurt?
Great idea for me.
Or is he fine?
If it was me, I would play Declan at the 6, Marino at the 8, and then just bring Trossard on.
Yeah, that's what my thought was.
I think if we're able to be on the ball, having Marino be the 9 just to like win the initial header and then hope someone like Declan falls onto the second ball and then you're running at their back line is more so of the game plan. Like maybe Trossard finding spaces in between the back line and the midfield could be an alternative to that, but I don't know. I don't know if he's playing or if Partey's playing or not, but I think you're more likely to see Marino drop into the 8, Trossard come on, and then Martinelli and Saka out wide.
I don't watch them on a game-to-game basis to kind of know what Zinchenko's role is, but is there the option that they just keep everything the same and just slot him in? Is that something that he's gone to as a sub? Like, I don't know. I know that he's played the left back and he's inverted. That's like what he did at City. That's what he did at the start. But like,
I think he's been taking Arabic lessons, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where Zinchenko and Arsenal are at.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of different things you could do. I mean, we're so injured that you're going to have to find some pretty creative solutions for things. I think if Calafiori was not injured and at game speed, he could potentially play left back. You could play Miles Lewis-Skelly at the 8. Get creative with things like that. But I think it's Marino drops into midfield or Jorginho comes on. It's pretty much one of those two options. But I think with the intensity of the game, maybe Jorginho kind of settles us in, but I'd prefer more of an athlete than anything else.
I like that point you just made, actually. It literally just came to my head, but I think Jorginho starting the game, obviously that is a risk, saying now that I say it out loud, but to your point, almost starting the game, because I think the game gets more physically intense as it goes on when Madrid are really chasing it. But I think to Dylan's point, if you can really just suffocate them, keep the ball, Jorginho obviously is perfect for that. So if the game plan works, it would be like a stroke of genius. But obviously the risk is just how immobile he is, and Tchouameni in there, Bellingham, really physical guys. They can get to him. That can be obviously really bad. But I don't know. It's a thought.
He did play this. He played this week, right? Like in the league. So maybe that's just the easy fix.
Yeah. And I looked at Zinchenko. He started 3 games and has played 350 minutes this year. So I don't think he's trusted by the manager for a game like this.
I mean, you could, if need, like, you know.
Sure. Yeah. As a sub emergency.
Then yeah. But I mean, I don't see
Is
that.
One area
I mean,
registered? Because I like Trossard, but what about One area?
He was on the bench, so
I love the kid. I think he's got great talent. I don't think he's got the physicality of what's needed for the Prem or this competition. Like he's a 17-year-old, and you can clearly tell that he's getting out-muscled in the league. But yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know. Anything's like, it all depends on the game context and the game state. Like, I think, right, we could be all this hypothetical, then guys are healthy or whatever, and it's different. I don't know. I have zero idea what to expect. Might be because I'm so fucking nervous, but yeah.
It's a crazy
like, just go. It doesn't even matter.
You gotta take their soul.
It doesn't. Yeah, you should, but it doesn't even matter. Like, in the context of our season, like, what do we have to lose? Like, this is it for us. This is the competition that we have to go.
That's all you got.
So, like, don't do anything other than not try and win this damn thing.
Right, because if you don't win this, it's another trophyless season.
They can, considering all the shit we've been through this year. Like, I still do think this team is capable of winning this thing, and like, just go do it or try. Like, I'm not going to be mad if you give it everything you've got and you lose at some point. Like, I want to see progress. Like, you got kicked out of in the quarterfinals last year against Bayern. Show improvement, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, no, this is a big step.
I'm not going to be like Arteta out, like half our fan base.
No.
Well, if
Arteta loses this fixture and you guys,
good Lord, man.
I'm just asking. I'm legitimately not no agendas or anything. Like, would that change your mind at all? Though
I feel like I'm watching AFTV right now.
Would it change anything? I don't go anywhere near AFTV, so I could be.
What? This is such a stupid conversation, in my honest opinion. Like, what manager is better than this guy? Everyone would kill.
That's what I say about every manager right now, though. That's the issue. Is all the managers that are in their clubs are probably the best you're gonna get. So. I mean, if the answer is no, the answer is no. That's fine. I'm not trying to.
Do not fire this guy when he's this close to doing it. That'd be the dumbest thing ever. They already filed Mike Malone and other guy. I think the Crosby's are good for the time being.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's perfect timing.
The fingers off the trigger.
Just the last point of this. What would you be your breaking point with Arteta? Not like, is there like a timeline thing, or is it more like a philosophy thing for you?
You bring back 45-year-old Mustafi Socrates. Okay. You know, that's when I'm done with
that's for the breaking point.
I have a lot of faith in this guy. Like, he's 5-6 years into his managerial career. To take what was the laughing stock of the Big Six and do what he's done. I know he gets a lot of shit, but I don't know. I think as footy fans, sometimes we forget to find the joy in just like whatever it is. Like, you've had City be dominant in the league for forever. Like, it's just a really tough opponent to beat. The greatest coach in the history of our sport. Like, does it suck getting second for maybe the third straight year in a row? Absolutely. But would I take this over 2 8th place finishes back to back? Fuck yeah. So I'm good with where we're going.
I love that response. I respect that.
It's the right response.
No, it is. I think a lot of people are too ready to get rid of their managers, and I've been seeing it this season too with Pep.
Save that for our segment, please.
Yeah.
That last performance. No. I've been kind of iffy on Arteta. That last performance really changed my opinion. It really changed my opinion.
If there was one performance that encapsulates his personality and the way he wants to play as a manager, it was that performance that we got on Tuesday. I think both going forward, creating 11 shots on goal, 3 ridiculous finishes. You probably should have had 5 or 6. You didn't give up anything to some of the best players in the world in transition. I think that speaks to how he wants to play the game. It's not for everybody, but it's really fucking effective. And I want to see more of it with new guys coming into the system next year that I think take this team to the next level.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Okay, let's switch to Madrid, and then we'll do predictions. and then Alex is going to jump off, and we'll get into the Champions League stuff. Okay, Alex. So obviously, this 4-4-2 crap shoot, half a team didn't work. You don't have Camavinga, but you get Tchouaméni back. You maybe have Mendy back. What would you like to see from Ancelotti in terms of setup to get you to try to salvage something out of this and see if you can get a result?
It's tough to say I want Valverde not in the middle, but I want the defense to be solid because, like, again, if we give away a goal, it could be over right there. So probably Valverde right back. I don't know if Mendy's going to come back or not. And if like, you know, he's going to be in the shape to come in and like replace Alaba or something. But yeah, I mean, basically we have to go with that. So Valverde, Asensio, Rudiger, probably Alaba, maybe Mendy. I doubt he puts Fran Garcia in. So yeah, you lose Camavinga, but you get Tchouaméni in there with Modric. And then we know the front four. I'm not sure if like the subs that we would have would be able to.
He might be back.
Bias is returning now.
No, but I mean,
I thought you were gonna say something about Vasquez. I thought you were gonna say Vasquez.
No. No, Ceballos. No, I mean Alaba scares me at left back just because of coming off of that type of injury at his age. Just physically, he didn't look like he was able to compete. Right, like Fran Garcia, I understand, not great defensively, more of a attacking fullback, but I'm just thinking physically alone, like Alaba does not have the speed right now to be able to keep up with Saka or even stay in front of him. I just think Fran might give you a better chance. But again, Mendy being back, I know Shad has his thoughts on Furlan Mendy, but given the circumstances, I think that's the best you have. Just to pace alone, he's able to at least keep up. So I don't know, that'll be telling for me to see who's playing left back. Because to your point, the front four, it picks itself. Yeah. Courtois in net, Rudiger and Asensio are the center backs. Tchouaméni's definitely in there, but left back, I mean, like you said, Valverde is just so impactful on games in the middle, so it is tough to kind of just put him at right back. But
yeah,
like I just said, like what else can you do? It's tough.
We're gonna need a huge game from the middle, like Jude especially, like on both sides. So yeah, and I mean, like Vinny can't let him get under his skin. Mbappe's really got to like lock in, you know.
We can't be like to end anyone's career.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's going to be a big spotlight on both of them because you got one that played he's played horrid, really outside of that one City game for them, for like, you know what I mean? And then you've got Mbappe, who's like, he literally almost killed someone. So
the whole front three, Rodrigo's been so consistent for them, and he did not show out whatsoever in that last fixture. So it's like the eyes are all on that front three. I only have faith in one out of three of them. So we'll see what the rest of the team does.
Bobby.
Is it Mbappe, Mila?
No.
Who's the man you got faith in?
Rodrigo.
Oh, yeah, he's been their best player the whole year.
Let's work. The other two.
I thought you were coming around to Mbappe for a second.
No, bro.
That'll never happen.
Freaking amplified my hate.
I think he's gonna go Ceballos. I think he's gonna go Ceballos. I think he's gonna
revenge
go
game.
Tchouaméni, Ceballos,
nightmares, man.
I mean, if from a
Ceballos 94.
Like even if you have to get 40, you got to get
3-1 on aggregate.
I don't know, man. You have to. This is the issue. Is like Madrid's hurt. They don't have really that many options, but they have to be as forward thinking as possible.
I don't mind the three take. I honestly think if you give Saka something to do defensively, you're limiting what he can do offensively, and that's another way of slowing someone down. So
yeah,
they need to get creative.
Can Saka give you 90 minutes? Is he good for a full 90? You think, Facundo, fitness wise?
Probably not, but
does he even need to give you that?
Are you really going to ask that question of the best player of our team? That man's cranking out 90.
Like he'll be okay. Yeah,
he'll crank out 90, and everybody will be like, "Oh, look at him limping after," but he'll crank out 90.
I mean, he might not be like full 100% the whole 90, but it's not like he's going to need to be taken off.
He was 50%.
I mean, it's all they've got. He's got to do what he's got to do.
He's so fucking good.
This is it for them.
I don't like the way this conversation went. I feel like we were very complimentary of my team, and that scares the crap.
Oh, we build them up so we can tear them down, my friend. That's my strategy.
I can't hate on your team. You just beat what is probably considered the best team.
Yeah, that's why I wanted. I think
I
told you. I told Facundo, but like I tried to set him up. Like I thought Madrid would win the first leg. Hey, Facundo, come on for the second leg. We'll talk about how you got cooked. Nope.
No, it went opposite of that. No, I have nothing but kind words to say.
We got to eat that until the next round, of course.
But you know how like in every sport, there's like one team that's always really good that like just can't beat another team for some reason, and the team's usually worse than them. I feel like we're Madrid's bogey team. It's like,
I mean, you might have.
We play them twice in this competition, so small sample size, or 3 times. Sorry.
Good point.
They don't have many bogey teams to begin with, so sure, I'll give you the title. Why not?
Whoa, well, there's a lot of disrespecting a lot of lower table teams.
Yeah, because I don't watch that competition. I just don't watch that. I choose
Ajax. Maybe Ajax.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Alrighty. Let's do predictions. I want you to give your a star player. Give your prediction for what you think happens. And then we'll have Alex jump off and go into Premier League stuff. But Alex, we'll start with you.
We need a really big game from Jude, and we need world class from Luka. And like I said earlier, just whoever's at left back, whatever we're doing back there, we have to slow down Saka and stop that if we want a chance. I mean, we don't want it to come down to Courtois making double saves and stuff like that. It's got to be like a complete reversal. I mean, and like Mila and Grant said, if you want to take their soul, you have to walk into the house of the soul takers and take their soul. So it's possible, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, obviously I want Real to win 3-0 and, get some magic and win on penalties, and it's possible. I mean, like I have my jersey next to me. This jersey, I mean, I still fit this jersey, and it's 5 Champions Leagues old. I mean, like, it's crazy what we do when we come into these competitions. But I mean, the way that Arsenal played, if they can replicate like even half that and lose 2-1, I mean, that they go through. And I feel like that's what's most likely, given like all of our turmoil in the back half. So yeah, I mean, silver lining, if Real lose, it will give them the advantage against Barca because we've got the Copa final coming up and it's a close La Liga race. Like, we need everything we can get. I mean, so these are the situations that Real's players like typically shine in, no matter what year it is, right? So we'll see.
We'll see. Alrighty, Facundo, already up 3-0.
Plead the fifth on this question. Like, I don't even want to answer.
We got to put you on the record saying something.
What's your gut saying? First score that comes to mind.
My gut has. This is the most nervous I've been for a match in my life. Do you understand? I think star players have to be Declan or Saka, just in a game like this. If it's Declan, it's just being the runner in midfield that outruns everybody. And if it's Saka, it's just him doing what he does and kind of introducing himself into that next group, I think. I think those would be my star players. I don't want to give a score prediction.
You must.
1-0 to the Arsenal. There we go.
Fair enough.
Penalty de Real Madrid.
We'll just keep going in order here. Grant, you'll go next. Mila, and then I'll cap it off at the end.
Yeah, obviously I want to say 3-0, 4-0. That'd be beautiful viewing. But yeah, just based off what we've seen in the first leg, I'd probably have to go 4-0 to Real Madrid. And I think Vinicius is very important in this game. I think all of them realistically. There's a big spotlight on Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinny, Bellingham. But yeah, I think Vinny, as loud as it's been all year, and now to your point earlier, where the league performances is first starting to leak into Europe, where he's typically been very good. I think this is a huge game for him. Nothing's impossible for what we've seen with these guys, but realistically, I'm feeling a 2-1 to Real Madrid. That's what my gut's telling me.
Yeah.
You hate to see it.
Okay, Mila.
3-1 to Madrid. Arsenal go through.
Is it an extra time 3-1 or 90 minutes?
No, 90. I think Madrid will have it, and then Arsenal will pull it through.
Fair. Do you have a star player? Do you even care to put a star player?
No, I do. I think it's gonna be, like Alex said, Jude. He's so good for them, and I know I didn't like him last year with all the PR bullshit, but he's a joy to watch.
Me too.
On the Arsenal side, though, I think I also agree with Fac in that Rice or Saka will be important. Saka in terms of just keeping Madrid's backline on their toes, making them a little nervous, and then Rice just controlling the midfield, being dominant in there, and going head-to-head with Jude in some situations is going to be really important, I think.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready for the lamest?
Last but least.
The lamest and last one?
0-0.
No, my star player is going to be David Raya.
I was going to fucking say that as a joke. I was going to say it as a joke.
Madrid?
Time wasting.
Madrid star player?
Well, like this is why
he turned around and punched it in the net 4 times.
Look, he's shown up in big performances this season. I think like the Ollie Watkins one, but like Madrid's gonna have chances. It's gonna happen, and whether he makes the save or not is really what's going to be important. I think that he's proven that he can do it this year. Also, I'm assuming that Arsenal will have more of the ball for some reason, and obviously he's going to have to play out of the back. And so if he's not good, there's a chance that Madrid can come back in this. It's small, but there's a chance. And if he's great, then there's no chance, right? Your goalie keeps it out of the net and whatever. My prediction, I'm also going to go 2-1 Madrid because I think that they get a lifeline, but I think it comes after the first Arsenal goal. I think it's like 4-0 and they get 2 consolation goals and it's like whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Stupid, but whatever. They deserve based off the first leg to go through at this point. So
they deserve none.
Unless Madrid show me otherwise, I'm not going to go with anything.
And then you got PSG.
Probably, yeah. It's a weird one.
I'd rather play them than Villa.
Villa comeback is on.
Who knows?
Emery revenge tour.
Ozzy Osbourne at the Villa ground.
Fair. Alrighty, Alex, do you want to say anything else? Do you want to plug anything else? Or are you good to get out of here?
A la Madrid. We got to do what we got to do. I mean, at the end of the day, it's good either way. We either focus on the Copa and the league or we keep the magic going. So we'll see.
Bigger fish to fry.
Let's go. Come on.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks, Alex, for joining us. We'll take a small break here and then we'll get back into it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay. Back into it. I have the table up. We're going to jump into the race for Champions League. We were just talking about Spurs, funny enough. So we'll just start with Spurs and then we can actually talk about the rest of these teams. But yeah, Facundo, do you think that the Spurs issue is more than just bad injury luck? Like, what do you think in there?
I don't know. I have some questions about the way they play, obviously, but we were just talking about it. I think the league's in a really good spot where just a lot of these mid-table teams are honestly pretty decent and can compete in a lot of matches. So, like, should Spurs and United be better than where they're at? Absolutely. But I do think that it's a credit to the league that there's this many good coaches and this many good players in this league that, like, if you're not on it, like, that's what can happen. But, I mean, being 2 points ahead of Wolves and West Ham is not very good.
No, it is not. We were talking about them because they play Forest next, and obviously I don't think any of us see them beating Forest, but Forest dropped points this week to Everton, making the gap between them and Chelsea just that much closer. We're only, 7th to 3rd is 3 points. And so every match is vital for all of these teams, and all the good work that Forest has done up until this point can be unwritten in a matter of a couple matches here with teams that have pedigree of getting into these positions. And obviously we talked about it. Forest has the easiest run of, I think, the teams left. But, if you don't, the pressure will mount on them if they lose this game to Spurs, or if they lose a game that they should be getting all 3 points. I still have them personally getting in. I think that they're like, they didn't deserve to lose against Everton, but they're also not doing a lot to win games at this point. And so it's
what they've done all year, though. They've won a lot of 1-0 games, to be fair to them. I mean, they're very resolute. They're very direct. Wood missed a few games. Was he back for the Everton? I think he was back for the Everton game. Let me check.
Yes, he was. He was.
Yeah. But Everton are a tough team to play. I mean, realistically, you chalk up a point going up against them. I mean, their last 5, they've drawn 3 of them. But to lose to Everton at home, especially given the context. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was running their top 5 victory parade for them. I mean, it's only 2 results, but 2 results and bam. Right? Like that. I mean, Newcastle 4, their last 5 are wins. Same thing with Villa. We're shitting our pants. City are kind of in and out, but they're still City. And Forest have just put themselves right into it. To your point, Dylan, they were in the top 4 the majority of the season. So it'd feel really tough, but that's the nature of the beast. To Facundo's point, with a lot of these mid-table teams competing, it's also almost creating this. I don't really know how to describe it, like, because there wasn't really a title race this year, but like that tier below has grown. What we knew as the Big 6, it's now just starting to turn in more of 8, 9. You maybe even squeeze in more. Right, exactly. And then obviously the Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, Brentford, Palace. Now we'll throw them in. They've always been in 12th, to be fair to them. But these teams all got stronger, and I wouldn't even say United and Tottenham got worse, that they were complacent. And that's what happens. These teams will catch up to you very quickly now with the amount of money in this league. So, I mean, I think that's really just what it comes down to. But, I still think Tottenham's a free 3 points.
I agree with that statement, but these past 2 games, and with all the pressure of this season now kind of adding up on Nottingham, I could totally see them dropping points to Tottenham.
We've had this conversation in person. I've had this conversation in person with Mila and Grant, but I do think that people underestimate how hard like the last 8 to 10 games of a campaign actually are. Like that is when you feel pressure to finish where you're at. So like people will drop points. I think we'll get into the rankings of this, but I'll wait for that. Yeah.
If Nottingham were solely focused on the Premier League, I totally think they just walk past Tottenham. They have a game against City in the FA Cup at
big game.
Less than a week after that. So yes, they should be focused on that Tottenham game, given that it's 1 game a week type of thing. But I know the sport, and it's very easy to overlook this fixture coming up, being, it's Tottenham, we should be fine, and then focusing more on that one after it.
I just don't even think you need to focus that much, to be honest. I totally think your points are valid. It's just
no.
I think Tottenham is its own entity in this sense. I think your sentiment is absolutely spot on. Like I fully support it. I just think that this Tottenham team is special in that sense, where they're that fucking bad. They are that much of a disaster.
You might be right.
And especially and I'm not even just taking the piss out of him. I mean, fully, like the manager, like he's done. He's a dead man walking. I've been here nearly 2 years. That's good for Tottenham. Like it's over. Similar when kind of Conte crashed out right at the end. They actually sacked him, and still in Europa, so he's there, but they're probably getting out of that in a few days. He's a dead man walking. The fans and him are just going at it every week. I think that is such a toxic atmosphere. I think the rest of the season is just going to be really spooky for them. It's going to get ugly, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think Forest know how important this game is, so I don't think they'll overlook it, to your point, Mila. Although I think, obviously, the semi-final at Wembley is definitely the bigger game for them. I think they'll be able to get the business done, because I really think that's all they'll have to do. Do what they've done all year.
You could be very right.
These guys aren't a threat.
Yeah, but then after that, they have Brentford at home. Brentford are playing away. Brentford's away from has been good. Palace play at home against them. They're very capable of losing this top 5 with and then they played you guys at the end of the game this season.
Oh,
so it's
it could come down to that.
It could be
Mila,
a 1 point thing.
It's absolutely coming down to that. But that is what did I say that one time? The stoppable force meets the movable object. Based on our form currently, like that. Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen in that game? But it's gonna be a huge game for sure.
I'm gonna save my thoughts for Spurs because they link with my United thoughts. So let's just jump into Newcastle because they thrashed us 4-1. And they've looked incredible over the last, essentially the break. They've looked really, really good, and they've got themselves back into the spot, which I wasn't sure they were going to be able to. They just kind of felt like they were in this lull. Really impressive performance. I mean, Isak is the best striker in the world, in my opinion. He's proven it essentially week in, week out for the better portion of a year. That he's
so creative on top of everything else that he can do. It's ridiculous.
Got everything, man.
And it's funny, Mila, you brought up Tonali I think earlier in the season when we were talking about is he really going to be able to get
gambling
back to
scum?
Yeah, right. No, but
got more allegations.
Can he?
He's running it. He's running it, dude.
No, it's because he's always been nice. It's just I think I forgot personally because of the gambling thing, how good he is. And this is the version. They're getting the version that was at AC Milan with Tonali now.
The fucked up part is that he might be gone again.
Did you see the allegations, Dylan? They're very serious.
They keep going 2 steps forward. He's tied in with at least 17.
He's the one taking the bets.
Players.
He's running the gambling ring. Yeah, him and I forgot the other player. I think it was Fagioli, but it was them two. I could totally be wrong on the second name.
Do we even know what they're betting on?
Something. They're not supposed to.
Interesting. But that would be a great Netflix documentary.
Little off topic, but Tonali, some other big names, Di Maria.
I saw Weston McKennie was involved.
Weston McKennie. There's a lot of big names in there that could really mess some things up. But
interesting. I honestly didn't.
In terms of Newcastle, it kind of sucks because, like you're saying, they're kind of building.
Jetted.
They're building what they need to
Milan,
build, and
I think they might go after Milan in court. Because Milan must have known about this, bro. They sold him out of nowhere right before back-to-back gambling allegations.
To be fair, I would be going after him.
They spent 70, 80 million on this guy. Oh, by the way, he has some investigations ongoing.
No, everybody thought he was untouchable.
Lazy shit.
And then no one saw that transfer coming. It was the most random transfer.
Going back to the game though. This team's got Newcastle. They've got depth. They've got amazing attacking talent. They've probably got a top 2 or 3 midfield in the league. You could probably argue they might have the best. And then their defense is built up of just really solid players and a rising star in Livramento. I was saying it a couple pods ago. I feel like they're the shoe-in to get into the top 5, just based off of form. It feels like they're the 3 now, in my opinion. Unless Tonali's gone.
Because they've got that game. Oh, he'll be fine for the rest of the year, I think. But I mean, they've got a game in hand, and they're 1 point off Forest. They draw their game in hand. They're level with Forest, above on goal difference.
They have the toughest 5 fixtures coming up.
It's City.
I know. I'm looking at it right now. No, they don't play City. They play Palace, Villa, Ipswich, Brighton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton. That's Newcastle's running.
I don't think that's a lock though. At top 5,
definitely not. Chelsea away. I mean, I don't trust us going to St. James. They got to go to Villa this weekend.
The Palace fixture is difficult, but
that's the game in hand.
You guys just beat them 5-2, right? And then Villa, they're going to be coming off.
We beat them 5-2
in a game they have to win.
Yeah, I guess.
And then Ipswich is Ipswich, which we'll go into them. But Brighton just lost their game, so I don't know how competitive that's going to be. Chelsea's the thing is they control their own destiny because they play.
I think all these teams do though. They play a lot of teams in that range.
I think what it comes down to is who have the best players and who have the best managers. And if I look out of everyone contending for those last 3 spots, it's probably City, Newcastle, Villa. I think
not wrong.
Yeah, I think City's the lock for 3rd.
You think so?
I think so too.
I think you have to go based off the experience here. Villa and Newcastle are the only other ones in the last 2 to 3 years that have also finished in the top 4. I think knowing that, playing in meaningful games, like I think that helps them. I think Forest and Chelsea have the lack of experience and the worst form out of the 6 or 5 of those teams. So, yeah, Newcastle's really good though. I give them a lot of credit. They should, to Mila's point, they should not sell all their players and they should keep them. They have the money to do it.
Absolutely. I think that them getting, that's why I think that they're going to run the it's weird because I shouldn't be naive and I shouldn't assume that Newcastle are going to run the rest of the table here, right? Like, but I look at their fixtures and I just think they're the better squad in every matchup. Like, and the Arsenal one's the only one where it's like kind of iffy, but you guys are going to be done with your season looking for a Champions League spot. There's a human nature to like when you're not.
They hate Newcastle though. Arsenal hate Newcastle. They've had beef past few years, so they'll be up for that game.
I mean, but we play like crap every time we play them, so it doesn't really matter.
Jacob Murphy has 17 goal contributions. Did anybody know that?
Point, if you're playing in the second leg of a Champions League semifinal in Paris or at Villa Park, or the second to last game of the year, like we're playing Liverpool right before that. Like I don't think we give a crap. Maybe Liverpool because it's like we want to say we're better than you. But
with the injuries that you guys have had, like why would you run out players potentially to get them hurt in a game that means nothing? Because you guys are the 2.
Yeah, but right? I don't think we're safe either. Like what? Finish second too. Like that is the highest you can finish. So finish second.
That's the thing is I just think that the gap.
Like if City finish above us, we're never going to hear the end of that. Like if we choke second,
Neil's been talking about it.
We're going to have a new invention for Arsenal choking, not winning the league. Like what?
You are not wrong.
Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle, Southampton. I mean, you picking up 6 points probably based off of 2 of those. You know what I mean? Like relegation sides. Just maybe Southampton will give you it if they're looking to not be the worst team ever. I mean, I don't know. But look, well, obviously Newcastle will just have to show it, but I just think they've been the best team in the Prem over the last 2 months.
I thought they'd have a hangover from the cup. Wrong.
Going into that second half, totally thought United were going to take away some points.
Oh, I was falling asleep for a reason, bro. I already knew. Mila thought I was asleep when Garnacho scored. He's like, "You up?" I'm like, "Yeah." I couldn't believe he put
lopsided. But definitely lopsided. But second half, they showed out. The first half,
I expected it.
Newcastle should have put away a couple more. But United were still getting some things off the counter that made me think that they could steal one, not in a dominant way whatsoever, but just a steal.
I thought they couldn't get out of their half.
They couldn't for the most part, but they had a couple times where there's a guy on his own and there's no runner with him. So it's like could have is the main part of my point here is that there were chances to do so, but United.
Okay, I'll now talk about the thing that I was going to say about United and Spurs. The Prem does not matter. We've been saying it for weeks. Like that's what this game felt like to me. Mm-hmm. I feel like in the weeks prior, it's been like, oh, there's some pride here. I think there's a collective understanding that this is the worst Premier League finish that the team's going to have, right? So what does this matter? Look, we played Christian Eriksen, Lindelof, and Harry Amos in this match against Newcastle. If you told me that at the beginning of the year, I'd probably be pissed the fuck off, right? But I understand it because the only thing that matters is Thursday for United. And this goes for Spurs as well. And look, if either of those teams go out of Europa, there's going to be head calling from everybody in the media because those two teams garner that much attention in the media. And so look, like the Onana thing, and then you've got these injuries and nothing seems to be going right for these clubs. And for United, it's just like, who cares? I don't go into Prem matches hoping for results. I hope to see certain sparks out of certain players. Like I'm getting that out of Lenny Yoro, right? Like that's a player where I'm like, okay, show me something. In this match, I'm like, okay, Garnacho scored. Like maybe he can replicate that Thursday. He probably won't. But like can we give a spark? Can you give me something? That's why I think but it just doesn't matter anymore.
No.
And anybody, and there's been a weird hyper focus on in the media. Who cares? Like, does anybody look at that United side and go, yeah, they should be getting results here?
Not me.
No. And does anybody think that them finishing 12th compared to 14th matters? Also, no. So I think it all goes down to Europa. And if they don't get anything there, then that's just where United are, right? And they're going to have to rip it up again, which is already happening. So whatever, right? And there's a give and take with the Newcastle one here because they should thrash this United side 4-1. Everyone should. Yeah, they stink.
I think the common denominator between the two teams you mentioned are two managers that are very stuck in their ways. I know I've said this every time on this podcast. I genuinely think if you are hell-bent on a formation or a way of playing and not adapting to what the Premier League is, you are so dead. You're pushing up a center back into a midfield two with Ugarte and expecting to play out of the back against one of the best pressing teams in the league. Like, I think tactically, structurally, like, you've got to give your players an ounce of belief in you. And I don't think Ange did it for a little bit. I don't think Amorim has done it at all. And I've been on this. I genuinely think that if these guys just tweak their systems to make their teams more successful, and rather than just, hey, this is my identity, this is the way that my team is going to play, they'd be in a much better position, but like you feel a lot more optimistic going forward that you know how to handle adversity as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm not going to handle adversity because of the way that I want to play and I can't do it right now. Like, it doesn't matter. I
think United circumstances are different. I think United circumstances are different because they've had a vicious cycle of we'll bring in this manager, we'll bring him his players, didn't work, next manager, and then it just keeps going where you got the wrong players with the wrong manager.
Could they have the wrong manager again?
Absolutely can. They absolutely can. But I think what it is the mid-season thing made no sense, especially because they really wanted him and he warned them, like, this isn't going to work. Like, you can't just plug them into this system and have it work. But I think what they want him to do is weed out the bums. I think Ratcliffe has shown on the business end of things that he is cutthroat. He's not very emotionally attached. He's a fan of the club, but in terms of sentimental value to any potential players on there, I don't think he cares. So I think, all right, Ruben, do what you need to do play how you want to play. And I still think he has tweaked to an extent. Like I remember earlier in the year, Dallo started occupying the half spaces and Garnacho was on the touchline because that's more natural for the winger. But I just think he's weeding out the bad players. And I think Dylan maybe disagrees, but I'd say probably ballpark 70% of those players are not part of the project, maybe higher, probably higher. So I know, like a Lindelof, I don't think he gives a shit if Lindelof drowns. You know what I mean? I don't think he cares if a Casemiro drowns. I don't think he cares.
He cares
I think
6 months ago when Ten Hag was in charge or whatever. Like, these are
Ten
the same
Hag
players minus Dorgu.
I think he lost. No, yeah, and I think Dorgu's been pretty bright because that position is crucial to this system, and he plays it a lot better than Dallo, Mazraoui, Malacia, Shaw, if he's even played. I just think he's weeding out the bad players there. I think they're going to get rid of him, and I think I've always been on this with Amorim probably since probably 2 months ago. That transfer window, if he gets backed, that's when you got to start getting onto him if things go south. Because if he gets the players and the right amount, because he needs a lot. If you get the right players in the right spots, you need to start seeing progression. That's when I will start to feel comfortable getting critical with him. But honestly, at this point, I think it's just get rid of the ass and then chat to me in the summer. I think that's what the approach is. So you're going to have to be patient with this. I'm honestly just shocked. After 2 years ago, I didn't think we'd see a Big Six team as bad as Chelsea were. And now there's 2 that are under him. I mean, that is crazy part to me in big picture. But with Ange, I think he showed his colors in that 4-1 against us with 9 men halfway. I think that was the indicator of what he would do. But Amorim, I think it's a totally different situation. Dylan, do you have kind of anything else on the?
Yeah. No, I mean, Spurs, look, when they got Ange, they got him players that fit his system, right? Like they brought in Van de Ven, and like Van de Ven's not. When he doesn't have those guys because they've been hurt, they look like crap. I think to your point, like there's a breaking line. My issue with the United thing is like, and the point on like changing the style is it didn't work with any other manager either. Like these players just aren't good enough. I think we talked about this before, so I won't like ramble on about it. The quality players are rising to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saving. I have like it's not a hot take, but like I think I'm gonna save it for an episode because then it doesn't feel right in this moment. But the good players are playing better in the system, and Bruno's like a great example. I think Eleni Yoro's an example, and Aiden Heaven. Those players are rising to the system. I think this system is super complex and it requires a certain level of player, and those players just aren't there at United. And the Premier League thing is interesting, and from the fact that he's I guess my biggest gripe, if I had to have one with Amram, is like I don't need to see Christian Eriksen play. I don't. I'm good with it. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like in this game, I didn't need to see Garnacho play. I could have been cool with him giving some guys their debuts. I mean, did it with Amos, but
who are you gonna
way too late
play
at this
there?
point. Toby Collier. Oh, Grant died. Don't know what happened to him there. But like Toby Collier played. Fair enough.
I just think your guys' season for the past couple months and the rest of the season, other than the trophy that you're trying to win, it's just an elongated tryout.
Yeah,
the way to summarize what all of you have been saying. And with United and Spurs, they're both trying to build an identity with their team. This is one way to go about it through the play style. So I see your qualms, Facundo, but I do see the logic in what they're trying to do. It's just when you're this far down below, if you do tweak the system at all and you go up 4 places in the table, what's the point? If that's the level,
Progress.
you know? I mean, progress, you can call it progress, but it's not progress for these teams.
Like, do you not think that, like, continuing to lose is just, like, a bad, like, obviously they're done with the league, but, like, you've got to have, like, something to, you know, make you feel, like, decent as a player. I
agree with you.
Or at least, like, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be in results. It has to be in the way that you're playing. Like, right now, it's so bad to watch.
But I think that's to Dylan and Grant's point is like a majority of that United team is leaving, and that's why it's not as bad. With the Tottenham team, I don't see a full-on fire sale with them. So in that sense, yes, it is really bad because a lot of those players will be there in the next season, and that's in their headspace. With United, doesn't fucking matter because most of them are gone. The guys that were playing well and building a connection with the coach are going to keep building that connection and keep playing well. Hopefully they'll be able to build something off the back of that.
It's tough because I actually don't think we're playing all that bad. I just think that it's come down to errors, and that's not on the manager. That's on the players. I mean, if I'm looking through the fixtures, right? I'm going to go back to the game against Sociedad. So that's like our best performance of the season. We play good. Everyone plays well. We have no errors and we win 4-1. We go on to beat Leicester 3-0. Leicester suck. But then from that point on, you got Forest 1-0 for Forest, and there's an error in that game on Dorgu and Garnacho not just taking a tactical foul, right? On a set piece. Then we play City, and there wasn't an error in that game, but we didn't get out. I think we outplayed City for a majority of the game. And this is a City side that are still competing for top 4, right? Lyon 2-2 last week. Onana makes 2 errors and United lose or draw. And then you have this Newcastle result and he plays a bunch of crap guys, but it came down to Mazraoui made an error, Bayindir made an error, and you lose 4-2. So 4-1. Sorry, 4-1. And so like that's kind of where my point lies. Of like the system can work, and in Europa he hasn't lost with the system yet. But there's proof in the pudding that it works. He just needs the players, and my confidence in them getting the players is really where my biggest concern is. Because if they don't back him and they don't give him it, they have to do with Chelsea. They have to bring in a whole new squad and let him go through this preseason process with a whole new team. But that's where United's at. Like they need the open heart surgery that has been talked about for a ton of time, and they're going to have to spend a ton of money. But there's one team in England that are going to be able to do that, right? And that's United. Not they should be, but it's just kind of their hand. It's kind of their hand.
You three.
What about it?
Yeah, I mean,
you all three of you could do that every summer if you wanted.
Yeah, and that's the pedigree of the league. The leagues before, that's what has allowed it. And so United have played in a weird ballpark of only spending it on one person. They should just spend it on the entire squad. And there's going to be money to play around with. But that's kind of where my issues lie with the he's not doing enough. He should make a tactical switch because it's working in Europe. It's just not translating to the Prem because I think half of these dudes are in Cabo mentally. Would you walk up to a Premier League game at this point as one of the players and be like, yeah, well, this is something to fight for. Here we go, 14th.
I mean, I would. Yeah, pride.
Well, I would too, but I'm not a professional football player. You know what I mean? My contract is not guaranteed. If I was playing for United,
Europa is a different. I don't think that you're getting the intensity that you would in a Prem match. Maybe that's just the difference. Whatever it is, but.
I just think that the United team steps up in Europe. Onana hasn't, but I think the team as a whole does. United have issues, but I think that his personality makes me a little maybe more giddy than I should be about him. And who knows? I only will be able to tell.
Or a factor.
The worst part is I'm going to figure out what I actually feel about the manager in December of next year.
Yeah, right? Pretty much.
Because if they fire him in this season, then
you have no clue.
What's the point?
You don't need to Potter him. It's not that bad.
No, I don't think it is. Okay, sorry. Let's get off United. That was way longer than I wanted to actually talk about them. But I guess it
wasn't too bad.
So, or missed the pod.
Oh, the timing.
United, I'm back.
Yeah, my computer geeked. By the way, that's what happened.
It's all good. We didn't say anything mean about you at all.
As you told me before I got on. It's not a computer error,
dude. It literally just started flashing black and then back on twice, and I was like, okay. And then the camera was out, and I was like, okay, let me try and change it. And then I clicked to have it be a different camera input, and it kicked me. So that's
the downfall of the $100 piece.
To Facundo's point, that's not used for error. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's running FootMob and the StreamYard. It can't take it.
You can't take 2 tabs at one time.
Okay. Okay. Wow, we spent a lot of time on this too. Mila City. Go ahead. I'm gonna
City. That was the most exciting performance we've had all season. Had to wake up at 4:00 for it, but we ball. It's probably the most awake I've been during any City match this season. Also, we went down 2-0. And as they put away a third that was slightly offside, shout out to semi-automated refereeing offsides. So that was the turning point in the game. Once as they put away that third that got disallowed, Kevin kind of did what he does. He tied his boots a little tighter, and he was the catalyst on offense, getting the ball back up high on the pitch, finding people, making chances. He got it all done. He started the scoring with a shot off the post on a free kick. And from there, he just led us to the 2-2 that we went into the half with. It's hard to talk about him because this is it, but this is exactly what I want to see out of one of our greatest, if not our greatest player ever. Last couple games, instead of throwing it all away and being like, all right, I'm done. You guys are done with me. He's giving it everything he has. He looks fit again. It's looking like our decision was wrong to get rid of him. But this is why we are where we are, is because we kind of hold on too long to some of these guys. So in terms of Kevin, thank you for that. He definitely got our guys going. And once he brought it to the 2-2, it seemed like the younger guys could take it over from there. O'Reilly, we really good again. Got a goal. McAtee, he got a goal with the first start.
And he did a backflip.
That surprised the crap out of me.
Yeah. Also, Mila, no wingers again. If I won't speak for you, but if I saw this lineup before the game, I would have been like, oh, again.
Obviously
it was a 4:30 game.
No. I've been like that all season, no wingers is a problem for me.
Gundo left wing, like that's
listen. When it wasn't Gundo left wing.
Yeah, he's tucked in. I know. Yeah.
Marmoush and McAtee as the wide guys give me a lot more confidence than a Bernardo and a out of form Foden do. Marmoush is in great form right now.
Are we just
on the season? Yeah, I would justify what. But yeah, so looking at the lineup, wasn't really worried about it. Last couple weeks when they did do that, yeah, Nico in the midfield.
Both Nicos.
Yeah, exactly. So it might have been the same setup, different personnel though. So that's
all the difference in the world. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Nico G needs to be in that midfield for the rest of the season.
Do you like this fit next to Rodri? Or what do you think? How's that look?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Rodri should play this season though. I know.
No, I'm not talking about him back. I'm not talking
just
about
in general.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Obviously,
it'll be great with Rodri. He gives me like first year Rodri vibes. Not the best player, but certainly there's something to work with. If he can make that leap like Rodri did, doesn't need to be nearly as big of a leap, but if he can make those improvements, then him and Rodri will be a very scary midfield duo. And then from there, we'll put someone in front of them to play the three midfield. But yeah, he needs to be in for the rest of the season. O'Reilly should be in for the rest of the season. Marmoush is going to be in for the rest of the season because of the Holland injury. I'd be more than happy to see McAtee play more. He could have had 4 goals on the day. He missed about 3 pretty easy chances, but he finally got that goal, which is all that matters. The defense, Gavardio's been good at the center back. I think that's one of the other big things is like beginning of the season, it seemed like he was uncomfortable there. Now it looks a lot more natural. He hasn't really had any errors in the air, which was the main attribute of his center back role that I wasn't happy with. But it seems like those have been cut out a bit. In terms of the way we played, I don't really have much. I was too giddy on the whole aura of it all. Like we had passion again, and that's all I fucking needed is just to see the team with playing for the badge.
I woke up at like 4:50, or like I checked the score right before going back to sleep, and it was 2-0. I was pumped, dude. I was so pumped. And I woke up 5-2. Not great, but yeah, good win for you guys. To Facundo's point, I don't think there's too much to talk about. I think I have them in there, no problem. They might even get to third, but regardless, they're in the top 5.
Before that, for that game, I was less confident. The passion on display during that game, though, makes me a lot more confident for how we're going to end the season. And you guys got good fixtures. Exactly. And Palace is a bogey team, one of the harder ones. Mm-hmm. So if we dropped 3 points there, though, it would have been done.
Oh,
heads would have been down. We wouldn't have done anything. So we would have been out if we lost that. So to come
all these games are big games
and dominate the way we did, yeah. I think it's looking good for the rest of the season.
All cup finals for all of us, but yeah.
Okay, so I missed pretty much everything you said.
Good.
But I
can't even take your headphones to the bathroom.
I can't. Just have a wire.
You got a wire?
I mean, vintage KDB, right? Can he give you one more? Like, can he be the main man down the stretch?
Oh, for this season?
For the city.
Yeah.
And can
that's what I was saying. I think he's going to be that guy. He's going to lead by example. He's going to have the armband. And I think he's just going to try his hardest to get us into the Champions League next year. That's all he can really do. If we can send him off with an FA Cup, that would be great.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. But I do think he said it himself. He feels free. That's the word he chose.
Free.
Yeah. No more hernia pain. So I guess that went away recently, past couple of weeks. And just watching his performances in the past month, you could see that he's playing different. It kind of started at that international break where he was just dominant with Belgium, and he is Belgium. He is the squad there. So if they're going to do anything, it's because of him, and he decided to show out there. I had reservations about him bringing that back to club football, and he has certainly shut me up about that. So, yeah, I think he's going to close out his City career, his 10 years here, with a bang, as he should.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird because like the last 6 or 7 pods, we've been like, oh, they need to go youth. It's got to be the young guys that spark it. Now I'm almost flipped.
We did go youth though.
No,
we had three academy players.
And you got Unk leading the way. I think Mila's point's perfect. Like as soon as they announced it, like he's not coming back, he knows, okay, I have this much time left. I know exactly how much I can exert into that. I'll give it everything left and then leave on a high note. I think that's what it is. So with a player of that quality, I don't doubt it.
I agree that it's a combination, right? But I think that if you don't have Kevin De Bruyne and it's Phil Foden or a Savinho or some other mix of that, right? You guys lose by 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like him scoring and being your most important
lose, but
player.
We probably lost 4-0 that game without Kevin. The way that game was going, like, yes.
I think it might not matter who's playing so long as he's your best player. The best way to get, the most out of him is probably with these youth players. But Gundo played, to your guys' point. Like,
because I think if you had a Bernardo and Foden right now in that team playing as those guys making the runs for Kevin, then you're not getting the same as a Marmoush making that run. And honestly, it wasn't even just the stuff with Kevin. Like Ederson found McAtee for a goal.
Right, but when you were down 2-0, like you were talking about, you were gonna, off thyself. It was Kevin De Bruyne that picked you guys out of the mud.
Yes,
right.
But he is our captain. That's the thing. Like he leads by example a lot of the time. He's not the most vocal captain, where he's going to give you some glorious speech that gets the soldiers pumped. Like it's not him.
Still not letting him talk.
Let me talk.
But when he does get in this little rhythm and he's like, okay, I'm going to show you guys what we need to fucking do. Follow me. That's when he becomes a real leader for us. And this was just one of those games where I think it helps that you have young guys that look up to him, that are seeing, oh, look, fucking Kevin is doing it at that age. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And we had 3 academy guys that grew up watching him that were like, yo, like, let's fucking work. This is an opportunity to play with Kevin, and it's running out. So I think that just played a big factor in all of it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meme, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's got the 4 young guns and then they all grew up.
And
yeah, same thing. But yeah, I think they're in.
Yeah, the schedule's pretty kind, but I still need to see a little more.
Just look at the other teams.
We'll switch to Chelsea in a second.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I'm not talking Villa. In the game that they won 3-0. They won a game that they should. They're surging in the right direction. We'll see where the Champions League kind of shakes out for them. But that's a team that would worry me if I was Chelsea, City, or Forest, because like Facundo said, really good manager, really good talent, and they're going to be pushing because they want to keep their guys, and you're not keeping your guys if you don't get Champions League. So they're just kind of breathing down the necks. I'm gonna we'll save them for the next pod because
we got enough going on right now.
Yeah, but let's switch gears to Chelsea. 2-2 with Ipswich. Grant, your thoughts?
I thought we were talking about the 3-0 against Legia Warsaw.
We can if you want to touch on Thursday night.
Yeah,
I'd leave.
I'm kidding. That was tough. That was a type of result we would get last year. Type of result we did get last year. This team is all but relegated without their talisman, their only real threat. Fair play to Enciso. I've always thought of him as a very quality player, and he's killed us in the past, so I'm not surprised to see him do it again. But just in the fashion it happened that up until the first goal, it was all Chelsea. I was actually confident in them scoring the first goal. We actually looked all right. And then as soon as we conceded, the second one came right after. And the momentum switched. It was 12 minutes between the 2 goals, but the second one felt coming too. Incredibly disappointing half. I think a big part of it, we harped on it a million times, but our fans are just such dickheads. Like they're booing at 0-0 10 minutes in when there's one pass back. It's going to take a lot to get them back on our side, which is crazy. Like you're supporting the team, but they're not actually supporting the team. But I mean, we came out in the second half and immediately score a goal. Mila was actually in town this weekend, but he was in the bathroom. He missed the goal. And it happened like that, just right away. Got the ball over to Madueke on the right-hand side, and I've already said enough on that front. I apologized about being too critical of him, given what we saw once he was out. But going right at his man, gets by him on his weak foot, puts it across. I originally thought Cucurella got the goal, which is hilarious because that would have been his 5th of the calendar year. But own goal, we take him. 20 seconds into the second half, you get the first goal back. All right, perfect. Let's get it. Let's get another one. Let's keep it going. I mean, we still ended up salvaging a point, but it was a Sancho worldie, not something you would really bank on. But even that came off of a short corner, just ball to him. He had space and he ripped it. It was a really disappointing game, man. They absolutely clogged up the middle, gave Jackson not much to do that game. They did a good job of really not letting him be as much of a nuisance as he is. Palmer really drifted all over. He was mostly on the left-hand side from what I can remember, but he just kind of drifted on either side to try and support Tax. He's been playing a lot deeper as of late. I don't think that's got much to do with fitness anymore. I think that's just kind of where we're at right now. People are getting really critical of the output, and he's got 2 less non-penalty goals this year. So I mean, we got 9 penalties last year. I have no problems with him. But you saw the issues in the squad building that we've just harped on about. In this type of game where they shut you out one way, you got to be able to have another way to go. And I think a big part of having another way to go is having a giant target man to complement Jackson's profile. One we tried to go get in the summer and the deal fell through with Samu, but we were targeting that profile. Would have been great today. Or 2 days ago. No, fuck me. Yesterday.
Especially with the amount of crosses you guys were doing.
Because that's all we did. And
like
we've done that before.
We've done that before. Really well. I know.
Yes,
I know.
They
played really well.
We did that against Brentford. We did that against Brentford. We just cross.
Up the middle. Yeah, but to your point, there's nothing to cross to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Enzo Fernandez
is crossing to Cucurella really the option? I think you could say that, but Cucurella's the target every time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Facundo's harped on it for probably years now, but I'm sure I'll let you talk to it. The day they break down a low block is when you'll change your opinion or, move on. Yeah, I think that's just squad buildings let us down here. Obviously, the manager's got to hold something. I understand it with youth players not wanting to throw them in, but what I saw Chempong do in Europe, and I totally understand it's a conference league. Like I have to preface that with I understand. Chempong's like 6'5". Physically, I do not worry about him. He started at center back against Ipswich in the reverse fixture. Mind you, we lost that game. He looked fine there. He looked comfortable. And then you go out and put Chalobah at right back. I didn't love that, but again, I think, like Reece James not playing hurts. But again, I've also said horrible things about our previous manager because of injuries. So as long as these guys are.
Was there any knock?
He's been hurt for 3 years. So
no, but he played 56 minutes in Warsaw. Yeah. That competition to the same United points that I bring up does not matter.
Yeah, it frustrates me, but I don't know. It sounds like coping. I totally understand that. But with the amount of injuries we've seen with him in particular over the last few years, like no matter what we do, it just always seemed inevitable. If he finishes the year without another knock, I will be a happy man. There was a knock, I believe, 2 weeks ago that held him out of a game. Might have been Brentford. But don't take your chance with him. That is a world-class talent. And if you can keep him on the pitch, please do. Do what you got to do. But yeah, Chalobah out at right back with Gusto on the bench. I mean, Gusto changed the game. He hasn't had his best year with us. I mean, last year I thought he was better for sure, but I thought that'd be a better option. And the 2 goals too, I don't want to blame the goalkeeper, but what I will say, and I said this to Mila while we were watching, I think a top-class goalkeeper can get his hands on one of those. I've seen an Allison make a save like that, Courtois make a save like that. I have zero confidence in that bald man to do anything.
Those are the top two, like two of the top shots.
No doubt. But that's the difference. Those teams are serious, and to me, with our approach, I don't think we're serious yet.
Who do you guys go and get? Like those two are untouchable, stuck at their clubs right now. I mean, I guess Allison would be an option.
I mean, yeah, no, I did that in a career mode, low key. But I just think with Petrovic coming back in terms of the goalkeeper question, I don't think they're going to go sign another goalkeeper. And honestly, they probably signed the wrong one. I think Petrovic coming back from loan is the better option. We know what he is. He's not elite. He's not world class, but he's not Robert Sanchez in terms of the mistakes that he makes, the just comical mistakes. But realistically, big picture, this obviously the implications are the Champions League race. We don't have a sponsor because we're not in the Champions League. And with our run-in, that was far and away the easiest game. Now we got Fulham away. After that, we got Everton at home. And then we have, not in any particular order, but I know we got Newcastle, Forest, Liverpool, and United. So when you have a run-in this tight, you need to take every game seriously. Every game's a cup final, but to drop points to Ipswich it's really sad, but I think you get what you deserve. If they end up out of the top 5, I would be extremely disappointed because I think we have the quality there to make top 5. I think there's enough good players in there, but if we finish 6th, 7th, and we end up playing Europa, play on Thursday nights again, I think we deserve it. I think we would absolutely deserve it. I mean, we were in a fucking title race apparently up until we just fell off the track. So there's really no more excuses. I honestly think last year we could have done it if we had a serious coach, but this year, man, unfortunate injuries, but I still don't think that's an excuse. Every team's had injuries. I think we've been better off compared to a lot of other teams. And not having a striker for 2 months was solely our fault. We should have had a second striker on our team that wasn't a teenager. I think that's malpractice. We're going to get what we deserve, that's for sure. If we step up and we beat a team like Nottingham Forest on the last day of the season, we actually win a game against United, which we cannot do. If we go to St. James and get a result, we would have earned a Champions League spot. And on the flip side of the coin, if it continues as it is right now, I think we would have absolutely earned the Europa League. So
I'm curious because Facundo has made the point of like not changing your tactics and not doing anything different. Did you see this with the same as Chelsea right now? And
no, we change our set. We change our approach every game.
Different. I don't think there's fluidity within their structure. I think that's where my issue with them comes. Is from when I watched, they literally try to play the exact same way.
Yes.
Every game. And I think teams have just gotten to a point where they're like, okay, they're not going to change. So we know what to do. Clog up the middle. Don't let them play through the middle.
Yep.
And then we know
Mark Palmer out of it.
Chelsea gets the ball out wide. They're going to put the ball in the box. They've been doing this since Poach, Tuchel, Potter.
No.
To me, this team tries to play through the center more, which I agree is how you're taught to play the sport at whatever the structural tactical knowledge of the game is now, is through the middle. But I think that when you start, I think people say the same thing with us. We play around the block, so we put the ball out wide. The difference is we have
someone in the air, multiple people.
But midfielders crashing into the box. I don't know.
You have the personnel for that approach.
I've made the point. I think you judge Maresca based off of when teams figure them out and give them a bit more respect. And I think that you're seeing them struggle to break down these low blocks, and there's just not enough creativity on the field. And I think that when you try and press Chelsea and you allow them to play in transition, I think that is their strength in the way that they're currently built and profile player. So
they want to attack space.
Probably just needs to allow more fluidity. But I've gone back to this. I just think there's very basic principles within a game, especially if you're a player and you're right. Your manager's trying to tell you to play a certain way, and you know it's not working. You should be able to take the initiative upon yourself to then know. I think if we do this helps us, within the game state, create a bit more chances. Just the basic idea of overlaps and not just trying to put the ball in from the half space every time. do something different, try something else. Like,
and I think it's a valid
part of it
point.
is like, I think the game, like, right, the conversations, like the game's gone, all this shit, people play the same way. I think part of that is true, right? Like, you have people trying to, a manager lives or dies by the way that they get their team to play, as opposed to forgetting who you are as the individual and remembering that you're a part of a collective and that there is a goal to win games, and that sometimes you're going to have to break what is a normal pattern for you to try and do things to be successful. I think that's, and not to bring it back to my team, I sound like I am, but I said this before. That's why I respect Mikel. Like, he came in and realized this team can't defend, switched it to a back three, because that's what he had to do to make the team feel confident in him. And then as you go, you can kind of change the way that it is. I just think it's to a point, like, if he doesn't do it within this next off season, like, and they're still playing the exact same way that they're playing right now, I think then you start to question, like, what the guy is doing. But the results have been there. I just think people have gotten used to it at this point.
Yeah, and I think I agree. It's been very rigid for the most part, especially in the dry patch of form. But just as an example, it was a 0-0. We didn't get the result we wanted against Brentford. I personally felt like that was a personnel thing with Dewsbury Hall starting and Kunku up top, Sancho, Madueke on the wings. But it looked a lot more fluid. Gusto and Caicedo were in the pivot. Gusto inverted from the right. And you could see him making overlaps, underlaps, getting into the box. Caicedo, obviously not as much. But there was a little more fluidity, and it looked a lot smoother. The chance creation was a lot better. But I think he's making those adjustments. And the way I'm kind of thinking that we approach it, the way we're approaching this is kind of, when I wasn't playing baseball, they would tell you, if you keep popping it up, like literally swing into the ground, like do that until you fix your swing. I think the chaos ball that these guys played last year, he's almost trying to hit it into the ground in terms of, this is how we play. Like, this has to be the foundation that is built, and it's built strong before they're able to play more freely. Like Augusto, for example, I just remember seeing it in preseason when he was inverting into that double pivot. He had zero discipline. He ended up on the left wing, right wing, up top, and we were getting eaten up preseason. And again, it's preseason, fully aware. But I think he's just really trying to hammer home the basics before being able to attack more fluidly, because defensively, we've been better lately, but for the most part, it's never really felt safe. So I think that's what it is. And again, there's been a few players in the wrong spots, but if you also want to go back and look at the transfer window, our big buys were Pedro Neto, Joao Felix, Dewsbury Hall, Sancho. I think he got let down a bit in hindsight. I think there could have been better targets.
You got to look at the players that are already there too. Like, what?
Most definitely.
We've talked about the targets, and so like that is what it is at this point. I think that there are tactical adjustments that should be made.
Absolutely.
You guys are healthy now, right? Like, there is some resemblance of health here. You have Jackson back, and you've got Madueke back, and
they're getting back to full, but
Reece James has been healthy.
He's been available,
right? Yeah. And
Fofana and Lavia, but yeah.
But
it's pretty much it.
My concern is that I'm still not seeing the best of Cole Palmer. I'm not. He had an assist off of Sancho.
That assist it's not an assist. I get you.
Right. And so in the last 12 matches, he's got 2 GA. I'm not going to focus on that, but Cole Palmer is a player that floats in and out of games, very similar to Salah for me. Where
What?
No. Okay. No.
I think he's too
Hold on.
Yeah, go on.
Point.
Yeah. Let it fly.
When he's clicking and he's firing, it all makes sense, right? But when he's not, he's in the center of the frame at all times. And to your guys' point, yes, he is sometimes too involved, but that's the issue, is he's always going to be involved because he's the center of the frame. He's your creator. And he's not like Odegaard, where if he's not firing at all cylinders in terms of goals and assists, he still does things in build-up and creative way, in creating plays for others in that sense. Right now, you have a guy in the center of the frame that can float in and out of periods of the match where he's forcing the focus on the wingers, right? And so I've been trying to harp on the idea of potentially just moving him to the right in more of these games just to get him out of the center of the frame to get the best out of him. Because I'm not seeing the best out of him in the center right now. And where was he the best last year? When he was creating chaos on the right. And to Facundo's point, you guys are playing the same way of just giving it to your winger and then just going up the line and crossing it to Cucurella. If that's your best attack, it's not good enough. You guys had 38 shots in this game against Ipswich, and you drew 2-2. It's not a good side.
How many of those shots were blocked?
I bet
so many, dude. So many. I mean, if in terms of chance creation, he's created 3 more big chances this year than he did last year. He's missed 6 more big chances. The chances are there. I'm watching these games. I got no problems with his performances. I think mainly in the first phase is where he's being utilized. He's definitely playing deeper than he was last year. Especially
do you want him that far away from goal? That's my issue. This is where I'm talking about. Is like, I don't need Cole Palmer picking the ball off the center back. That's not him.
Good.
That's not him. Put him in spots where he can change the game. He's not changing it from the center. If anything, you're playing into everybody else's system, which is playing him out of spaces where he's the best.
I think he's naturally a 10, but I agree that
he's been compared to Mahrez for 5 years of his past 6 years of his career, though. So if he wanted to play the right winger, he could totally do that.
Yeah. I'm not even saying that he should play right wing all the time. I just think it's there's pockets of the game where he has to be not in the 10. Well, and to your point, Enzo's so good in those spaces now. In all the areas where I was up with Enzo, he's been great.
It's 2 10s when we're in possession, Dylan. So there's one on each side. In this game in particular,
in possession, him picking the ball off your center back. That's not 2
because what we've been doing lately, you got the dual 10s, and Cucurella is now one of those 10s. The other one in this game was Enzo in possession, and then Palmer's the middle. Yeah,
you're proving my point.
My point is he's a top-class player who's able to roam around freely. However, in this current instance where we can't put away a goal, I want the guy who's more clinical there to be in front of goal. Totally.
So that's where my point kind of collides with Facundo's here. Is like, I think that Palmer should be the guy on the end of chances rather than him being the one creating all the chances.
Yeah, we saw what happened the past few months. No one's scoring.
Right. So why do you keep beating a dead horse? Like, it's clearly.
I think you're developing a young player. Yeah, I think what I'm thinking out loud, because something I talked about. I don't know. I might have been talking to Mila or Facundo about this, but before this sort of middle 10, and you already have the 2 other ones, and he just kind of roams. When it was just the 2, he was playing on the left side, and a lot of Chelsea fans obviously wanted him on the right-hand side where you can cut in and shoot. I think Maresca's trying to develop him, honestly, which is really frustrating in this run-in. We need results right now. I think he's been developing him to make him more well-rounded, give him more options. He's looked better off the left throughout the year, but again, he's best off the right, cutting in, making plays. But I think that's what it comes down to. In the first phase of play, when he could receive the ball, when he's receiving it in dangerous positions, like where he's able to turn players, where he's able to find that space and then play a ball out wide to Madueke, make a final run, I'm fine with him there. But yeah, when it's just kind of halfway line, tattering it around, I know. When we're at that, to Dylan's point, when we're at the halfway line, tattering it around for a few minutes, he comes and picks it up, still nothing. It's really static, to Facundo's point earlier. It's really static. I don't know if it's really all to blame on him. I don't really think you can.
No. I'm not saying he's being put in those circumstances. He's not to blame. That's
just
not
his
what
utilization of him. Yeah.
I think he's the thing that separates you from being outside of the Champions League and being in the Champions League. And if you get the last 8 games of this Cole Palmer, you will not make it.
I think a lot of it comes down to him.
On the table.
I like what you're saying though. Like I totally see what you're saying. Like, put him in the spots where he did it last year, right? Like, you need output, do that. I think this has been his first dry run of form as a professional, which was due. He wasn't going to just rip goals forever. He was never a GA guy to begin with. I always thought he would impact the game regardless. He'd get a penalty at the end, or he'd get an assist like he did with Sancho. But I always think he impacts games beyond that. But we're going to need that last year run-in version of him. I mean, he was bagging headers, halfway line goals, right foot. We need some magic. And I think that comes down to him, regardless of where he's deployed.
A lot of that comes down to what we've all been saying, is that teams have adjusted to the way that you guys are playing.
They know how fucking good that dude is too.
Yeah. Last year was a little bit of a surprise.
No doubt.
This year,
you didn't have any tape on him.
The one to watch on your team. Like, and no one, they're game planning against him now.
Every week. Yep.
So he's he's just going to have to find a way to make the stars shine.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of like there's a mesh in between there of like, one, he's just got to be, go to that superstar level that he can get to, that like supernova. But I think that there's ways to unlock him as well as a manager. And there's a middle in there. Because I don't know. I just look at him.
The manager can put him in better positions, no doubt.
It feels like he's trying to play like a Bruno or an Odegaard right now, and I don't think that's his game. Does that make sense?
Nah, I think he's been doing this to an extent. I think
they're all three different type of players.
I think he's got a lot in his bag, and really, we don't know what he has.
More of a 10. Like I love Odegaard to death. He's just a creative 8.
And I think Bruno's kind of gone in that mold too. But that's my issue. I don't think
you can put the ball wherever you want. I think Palmer's more like that player, a KDB type of player, where like you can score and literally put the ball where it needs to be for an assist. I think those three. I think Odegaard's a different type of player to those three. But I think you're on the right track. I do think that like that is the burden of being the best player on your team. Is that you're
Dylan, I pulled up the Brighton game this year to try and prove a point, but he was in the right half space that game, put 4 away and a half.
I am 100% on board with him being in the center of the frame for a majority of the game. I just think that there's small tactical things that a manager should be doing in the game to get more out of him and just take away that focus. To Enzo Maresca's point, he hasn't coached like any performance where I've been like, well, they got outplayed and it's all his fault. Like you guys haven't finished chances as well.
Well, I mean, we haven't even mentioned it yet, and I don't really have much else to say on the game itself. But the Ipswich keeper had a
Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, just the last 3 alone. Like Chalobah headed one into the ground and he got his foot to it. Enzo Fernandez, really good strike, got a strong hand to it, and then the Palmer shot that he got a fingertip on, put it on the post and out. In that sense, we deserve to win, but I don't think you deserve it when you go down 2-0 at home to Ipswich. Like, one of those chances probably should have went in. Should have never been in that position. But I had to give a shout out to Palmer.
Together. We should have won against Ipswich. The top
right, exactly. You shouldn't have been in that position. You should not have been chasing a goal in extra time at home to Ipswich. So to your point, there's definitely little things that we can do, and especially with the number of players we have, where tactically you can switch things up, plug one guy in, kind of shift a few people there. But I think we're just rounding out his game, to be honest with you. They always emphasize the project, and I'm just thinking out loud at this point. Round out the player. Shit. If he has a lot less flaws, I'll be happier. But at the same time, you got it. There's the short-term success, long-term success. There's got to be a middle ground where we're in the now, we're succeeding in the now, we're doing what we can to win in the now while also having eyes on the future. I mean, it's the run-in. We need Champions League. Come on.
Fair. Okay. I want to just have everybody know like actual thoughts on it. Just yes or no, because I'm going to use this for a clip. And we'll go Mila, Grant, Facundo, and I'll end it. But in just yes or no. Is Chelsea making Champions League this season? Mila.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm also out on them.
Oh, clip it.
We are going to clip it. And
I mean, it's crazy how things change in 2 weeks because I totally had you guys in 2 weeks ago.
I get what you're saying. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I get it.
Fair. I just wanted to get a feeler out. We're gonna keep having this conversation as the episodes go along. But this episode's going long, so we'll end it. Facundo, thank you for coming on and sharing your Arsenal opinions, even though I don't know why you're scared. Shouldn't be. Thank you again to Alex for coming on and sharing his Madrid thoughts. My thoughts are with you. It's pretty embarrassing. From myself, Mila, and Grant, Facundo, and Alex, we have been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 37, and we will see you guys in the next one.
2 words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? football, minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.